What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome on in. I hope you're having a great Tuesday so far. Hopefully, you had a great weekend. We're gonna be breaking down this new GoFundMe that was started by Faith Stowers because now she wants to sue Stassi Schroeder and she wants your help. So, I guess we should dive into all the tea for today, shall we? Let's dive in. Oh, hi, it's me, Zack Peter, pop culture junkie, reality TV insider, published author, and host of the No Filter with Zack Peter podcast. Here I'll bring you all the latest news on the Real Housewives, deep dives into celebrity legal scandals, and unfiltered convos with your favorite stars. I've got you covered, and yes, I always keep receipts. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest tea. Now, let's dive in. What's going on? Welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome on in. So I know normally Tuesdays are our book club night. We're sort of having a book club because there is a book that is now in question. So I'm deciding instead of reading a new book, we're going to revisit an old book that we've already read in book club because now it is a hot topic because Faith Stowers, who you may remember did some cameos, or she was like a recurring cast member on Vanderpump Rules back in the earlier seasons, most notably for sleeping with Jax Taylor when he was dating Brittany. Remember, it was the whole rotten hell right before they were about to get married. There was the whole thing about her sleeping with Jax, and then she accidentally recorded it on her phone while she was like babysitting somebody's grandma, and then it accidentally leaked. She somehow showed James, and then James ended up passing it around to everybody else, and then it became a whole thing on camera. Well, then she was prominent again in the headlines back in 2020 when Stassi and Kristen got fired because she had, I think, done an Instagram story where she explained the incident that happened between Kristen and Stassi, which I believe was a story that Stassi told on Jackie Schimmel's podcast at Dear Media. And, she said that I guess the cast believed that she was stealing things from people. And then there was a video that had surfaced online of a woman that was, wanted, I believe, by the cops. There was a tip line that Kristen Doty then called into, and she said, "Hey, I've got a tip for you. If you want more information, I think I may have found the person that you're looking for." She dropped the tip, according to Kristen, or I think it was according to Kristen. The cops never called her back, so that tip line never really went anywhere. However, the story blew up back in 2020, and it is ultimately what led to the firing of Kristen and Stassi. They have since moved on from Vanderpump Rules. Stassi has published another book since then. And guess what? I brought the bunny. I brought the bunny because now Faith Stowers she started a GoFundMe, which is a crowdfunding online fundraiser where she's requesting people help her raise $20,000. That $20,000 she's claiming is going to help her sue Stassi Schroeder for non-factual claims that about she's claiming Stassi made about her in her latest book, Off With My Head, which was published over a year ago, back in April of 2022. So let's revisit the book and see what legal grounds Faith Stowers actually has to pursue a lawsuit against Stassi. Because some people on Twitter are like, well, wait a minute, the statute of limitations for a defamation case is passed. What is the money going towards? What is she seeking damages? What are the damages that she's seeking? So let's actually get into it, shall we? Okay. So Faith wrote on her crowdfunding site. This is straight from her website where she's requesting donations from people. She says, Stassi Schroeder has written a New York Times bestseller book recently and has made more terrible non-factual. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Stassi Schroeder has written a New York Times bestseller book recently and has made more terrible, non factual claims about me once again. After all she's done, and she continues to stand by her ignorant claims that are very harmful to me and my family, I'm seeking assistance with my legal team to get this book removed and all royalties and funds collected from this book to be given to charity or assisting a family of choice. Thank you for your support always, and thank you for standing up against bullies and racial division. Um, Lots of questions that I have about this. Again, the timing of it, the book. Oh shoot. You can still see me, right? Okay, perfect. Oh, okay, there we go. Whoops. Sorry. Camera issue, technical difficulties. Okay, so lots of questions that I do have about this entire situation. One, the timing of it. The book was published over a year ago, published back in April of 2022. Um, so unclear as to why she's decided that now is the time that she wants to begin a lawsuit against Dossie. I know that there is a statute of limitations issue when it comes to a defamation case. Um, she also says, after all she's done, she continues to stand by her ignorant claims that are very harmful to me and my family. Unclear what claims that she is claiming are ignorant claims and how they're harmful. Again, in a defamation case, you have to prove damages, especially if you're a public figure. You have to actually prove what those damages are. So if you say something is very harmful to me and my family, you have to show how it's harmful and how it's impacted you and your family, right? I'm seeking legal assistance. I'm seeking assistance with my legal team. So, what exactly does this $20,000 go towards? Do you have a legal team currently, or are you looking to hire a legal team? Because there are references to her already having a legal team. So, is she currently paying for that legal team? And also, what does that $20,000 actually go towards? What is the purpose of the lawsuit? Are you seeking a settlement? She says that she wants to get the book removed and all royalties and funds collected from the book to be given to charity. What charity? Is there a specific organization that is meaningful to you? Or she says, or assisting a family of choice. What family? Is that your family? And what family? Because again, somebody that comes from the world of nonprofit fundraising, you're not allowed to fundraise. It's very tricky when you have like a 501c3 nonprofit organization. You can't necessarily fundraise for one family, or, the money can't necessarily be going to one person specifically. Like there are certain regulations that are in place that ensure that the access to those funds are fair, and there's a certain criteria that has to be met in order for people to either apply for that money, or however that money gets dispersed. It has to be there's just certain regulations, without getting into the boring details of it all. There are regulations that you have to abide by when it comes to fundraising. At least I know that's the case when it comes to like a 501c3 nonprofit organization. I don't know the specifics of a crowdfunding situation, but again, who is the family of choice that we're assisting, or what is the charity that you're hoping to raise money for? It's also strange because, are you wanting back pay for previous royalties? Because usually how royalties work in the publishing world, I know I've published 4 books, 3 that were self-published, 1 that was published with a publisher and then later sold to Simon and Schuster back in 2014. So I understand a bit how the game works. You typically get an advance upfront from the publishers, and then based off of what the royalties come in, once that advance gets met, then royalties are in addition to that advance, right? By this point, usually a book shelf life is about 4 months, maybe at best 6 months, unless it's like Harry Potter and it's continuing to sell year after year, which is very, very, very rare, especially for like a reality stars book, right? Shelf life is going to be at best 4 months, 6 months if you're lucky, but she's not making hard royalties all this time after the book. That's typically why when a book is released, if the book does really well and they want to make more money off the book, a publisher will typically then release a paperback version of the book, and it will like include like bonus material, a bonus chapter, something, right? So typically there's a bit more to that. So I don't understand what it is she's actually seeking and why she wants to rehash all of this. Um But Faith then continued by telling Us Weekly, she says, I believe Stassi hasn't learned from her mistakes and is still alleging in her book that I have committed a felony. Again, we have the book right here. We'll go over what the book actually says. This is harmful to my career and to my family. If it's so harmful, why are we waiting a year to actually pursue this? Or not waiting a year to sue her, but waiting a year to raise money to start the process of suing her. Because again, if you have legal counsel, which we will get into because an attorney has come out and is actually speaking about this, so Faith continues in her statement to Us Weekly. I found an amazing legal team and we are seeking assistance from supporters that also stand against bullying and racial divide to once and for all end this matter. How is this matter continuing to perpetuate is my question from a legal perspective, right? Not from a moral perspective, not from an ethical perspective, but just from a legal perspective, because now we're talking lawsuits, the terms there are legalities, you know, how again, what is the assistance like, I'm confused as to what this actually means and what the money's actually going towards and what you're hoping to gain from this lawsuit aside from getting the book removed, which again is just not, that's a really dicey line to walk around. If we're going to start banning books here in the US, I don't think that that's a realistic objective, but I that's a really big, statement to make. So attorney Nima Rahamni. He was the one that represented recently Sheena Shea in the restraining order case against Raquel Levis. He was Sheena's attorney. So Nima's now come out and he's saying that he doesn't think that Faith has an actual case against Stassi, at least not based off the evidence or at least not based off the statements that she's made so far, right? Which again is my question because based off of that blurb on a GoFundMe, it's unclear of what that actually is hoping to accomplish. So he's claiming that there is a thing of freedom of speech in our country. There's also freedom of press. So neither would necessarily prevent Stassi from sharing her side of things unless Faith can actually show that what Stassi wrote was defamatory and that Stassi published this knowing that it was intentionally inaccurate and intended to harm Faith's reputation. I also believe that at this point, Faith is considered a public figure, which makes a defamation case a lot harder to prove. So the timing is weird. It's been over a year. Unclear what the damages are. Why does she want an attorney now? Who is her attorney? And why isn't her attorney representing her in this pursuit of, raising money to fight this lawsuit? Typically, you would think the attorney would be the one making a statement, or at least outlining their plans to sue Stassi. And what are the plans to help the charity? How much are you hoping to raise for the charity? What is the charity? Like a lot of it is just it's vague and ambiguous. Two things that kind of were a little suspicious to me. It looked a little more like a PR campaign. One, considering when you go on the GoFundMe page, it's a photo of her and her child. Which to me, I get it, a GoFundMe, you typically want to pull on the heartstrings. So I understand why that would be a photo that you would use, but that immediately was just something that kind of raised a bit of a red flag. And then the timing of it, right? I know I keep saying it's more than a year after the book is published, but I think the date that this was announced and the date that this campaign was launched, which was on June 19th, which is also Juneteenth, which a lot of people, it's great that we're now acknowledging Juneteenth. It's great that, a lot of companies are observing it and, people are being given the day off for that. But I just hope that this isn't an attempt to try to capitalize off of the moment, seeing how things played out back in 2020, because we have seen Stassi come out. She has addressed this on a few different podcasts in addition to the book, because that's also something of question, right? If we're coming after her for the book, she did a whole book tour and she did multiple interviews where she was asked about the entire Faith Stowers thing. So why aren't those comments also being questioned into this defamation case that Faith is hoping to bring forward? Again, it's unclear if defamation is what she wants to sue for because it hasn't been necessarily clear. So but again, after a year, royalties are near nothing for a book. And, I don't think that a reality stars collection of essays is going to be doing that hot in June of 2023 when it came out in April of 2022. And so here's what Stassi actually wrote in the book. This is a direct quote from Off With My Head. Stassi wrote, just imagine making a terrible mistake, but one that has to do with one that has nothing sorry. Just imagine making a terrible mistake, but one that has nothing to do with how good you are at your job and one that doesn't truly reflect who you are. You're told to stay quiet. You're already ashamed of the mistake you made. You already want to fix it. But on top of that, every single person you know or have ever met knows about this mistake. So she references the mistake of one, assisting Kristen in sending information into the tip line. I don't think they sent like they've tried to clarify the story on multiple occasions now that the police were never called. There was a tip line that Kristen Doty wrote into saying, "Hey, I think I may have information about this specific case. Can you call me back? And I'm happy to give you more details about this woman that you happen to be looking for that they at the time believed was Faith Stowers." So I don't again, it's unclear what the inaccurate or infactual non-factual statements are that were made in the book, and again, it does make me question the interviews that Stassi did when she was promoting the book, where she did address it and she did answer, what the situation was. So far from what we've seen on the GoFundMe, it looks like Faith has raised $1,000. She's got a total of 52 donations, but where exactly is the money going is unclear. It's assisting her and her legal team. We don't know who her legal team is. We don't know who her attorney is. We don't know what legal team is currently representing her. I feel like that would be a really important thing to list in the GoFundMe. That way people know that the funds being raised are, going towards exactly what you say that they're going towards. Um, and again, like, what's the purpose of suing? Do you want a settlement? What type of settlement? How much are you seeking in damages? And why now? And how much do you want Stassi to pay you? It doesn't state any of those details. It doesn't mention the charity. So I am confused. Let's see what some of you guys are saying about all of this. Faith should just start a podcast and monetize the mess out of this. That's, I think, a better way for her to fundraise is like starting a podcast or doing something that would give people that sort of opportunity to support her and be able to tell her side of things and use that as a powerful platform to educate people if that's what she wants to do. It seems like she wants this to be a teachable moment. I think starting a podcast or using social media or just new media in general in some way to bring awareness to that, I think is a really great, a great option as well. From the looks of Twitter comments, Faith just boosted sales and support for Stassi. I haven't paid too much of it. I try to stay off Twitter a bit these days, just because it gets a little wild on there. But I've seen bits. And I've seen both sides of it. I guess I say let's look at the tape that Kristen spotted Faith and do an evaluation. I think Faith is guilty. We don't know that. I think it has been determined that the woman was not Faith. So and again, I'm not with law enforcement. My job is not to investigate these things. So whether or not that was Faith or not Faith, no charges have ever been brought against Faith. So it's uncertain if anything more is going to come of that or if they actually found the person that was in that video. Um I don't know what they're BSing about, but you look fabulous. And which is what is most important. Thank you. I appreciate that. Everyone's just trying to get a check right now, and it has gotten out of hand. Stassi will always be tied to the incident. Why aren't people allowed to grow and move on? Okay, so that's kind of my point. Is it's like at what point do we move on from this, right? This all came to a head in 2020. It's 3 years later. We did the Tamron Hall interview where she addressed everything for the first time. We wrote the book. It seemed like in the book she was taking accountability. She did interviews promoting the book, also taking accountability. So at what point do we give somebody the opportunity and the grace and the space to move forward? At what point do we learn from this and start to take positive steps moving forward? Like this just to me feels like we're going backwards and it's unclear based off of what she's said, right? I don't want to take her experience away from her, and I don't want to take any pain that she's felt away from it because I'm sure this was troubling to her as well. But it's like, what is the goal that we're hoping to accomplish? You want to have a book ban? That's not realistic. We're not in a country where we can ban books and remove them from the shelves. And if that's the precedent that we're starting to send, I think that's a very dangerous precedent if we're going to start banning books because we don't like what people wrote in those books, right? Um, Yeah, I mean, I don't see what this hopes to accomplish. To me, it does kind of feel like a PR stunt, unfortunately, which breaks my heart because I don't want to believe that. But That's what it appears at face value. No one's going to donate to a vague GoFundMe. I mean, so far it's gotten 52 donations. She's raised $1,000. She's got 19,000 more to go. She needs to sue Stassi, Jax, Sir, and Bravo. And of course, she has a hell of a case. What is her case? Why is she suing Stassi? Why is she suing Jax? Why is she suing Sir? And why is she suing Bravo? Just because we feel a certain type of way doesn't mean we have legal grounds to pursue a lawsuit. I mean, if you're saying that she needs to sue all of them, for what does she need to sue them? What did Jason Couchy do to Faith Stowers that would warrant a lawsuit? If anything, I think he may have a lawsuit case against her, or at least did when she illegally recorded them on her phone and then circulated that footage on the show. How is she gonna sue Sir? I don't think she's employed by Sir, so I don't understand unless it's like a wrongful termination case. I don't know what she would be suing the restaurant for. And then when it comes to Bravo, same thing. What is she suing the network for exactly? Especially since the network did take immediate action and they fired Stassi and Kristen related to their actions with Faith Stowers. Might be an unpopular opinion, but I think both Stassi and Kristen have shown a lot of growth. I agree. I think Stassi having a baby has really changed her. And I don't think she's interested in coming back to Vanderpump Rules or getting caught up in and all of that again. If she wants to have this teachable moment, then she's gonna have to put some work in and not just set up a random GoFundMe out of the blue. I mean, again, I just want to know what the intention of all of this was, and the timing of it just felt a little random. Stassi is racist and acts like she doesn't understand white privilege. She's gross. I mean, she has acknowledged it. She acknowledged it in the Tamron Hall interview. She acknowledged it in the book. She acknowledged it in multiple interviews since then. So I don't what do you mean she acts like she doesn't understand white privilege? I feel like she's addressed it multiple times. But again, it's like at what point, like, what do we expect from people, right? What does it look like for them to understand white privilege? What does that mean, Leslie? Like, we have to have a standard. If we want people to grow, we have to have a standard and a rubric for like what we want them to follow in order to prove that they've grown. Because a lot of people are like, I've tuned out Stassi and I don't want to pay attention to her, but then they're like, she still doesn't understand white privilege. But if you've tuned her out and you haven't actually looked at what she's been up to for the past couple of years, then how is that a fair statement to make? We have to give people an opportunity to make mistakes and then learn and grow from those mistakes. From what I've seen, she's learned and she's grown from it. I mean, she even hired the diversity coach. People are allowed to grow, but victims are allowed to hold a grudge. I don't think that that's fair. I think victims should be allowed to also grow, right? And be allowed to heal. Maybe grow is the wrong word. I think heal is a better term to use. Victims should be allowed to process and be able to grow. And I think culturally we're growing from all of this, right? It sounds like she wants all the royalties removed. So this is vague, but this is totally outrageous. It just sounds like she wants attention bringing it up now. It's just random. The timing of it is very strange. Exactly. You can't remove books from shelves. Andy Cohen gave Faith multiple opportunities to tell her side of the story, and she didn't do it. Now she wants to sue. That's questionable. I agree. I don't remember Andy Cohen giving Faith multiple opportunities to tell her side of the story. But I mean, if that is something that he has said, and if people remember that, I personally don't remember that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. I feel like men get uncanceled more easily than women. It's harder for women to come back from things, which is unfair. I agree with you, Michael. I think culturally we're a lot harder on women, and that's a conversation that I feel like we're not having either. She has it okay. She recorded Jax without his knowledge or consent. I mean, that is breaking the law as well. When you illegally record that, especially when it's a sexual act, and then that somehow gets circulated on a television show. That was lawsuit worthy, and nobody decided to take legal action in that case. Um, Stassi is pregnant right now. She once was ruthless, but I hope she doesn't stress us while pregnant. She's grown. Yeah, I mean, I think her legal team's telling her that there are no legal grounds for this to move forward. So I'm not a Stassi fan, but I'm also not a Faith fan. Thank you. What was racial? Racial? Am I missing something? I think the racial. Stassi's addressed it multiple times. Yes. So I think the racial piece. I think the racial piece is the association, right? Because the woman on videotape was a black woman and they were immediately associating that with Faith. And so I think it was that, I guess, profiling. Would that be the right word? Um, I guess that's where it falls into the racial part. Stassi is absolutely fabulous. He did at the reunion. Oh, okay. I don't remember him doing that at the reunion, but I believe you. Faith is shady. She wants to cash in on Stassi unfairly. It's not about race anymore. Now it's about greed. I just think it feels, again, the motivation just feels a little questionable at with the timing and the vagueness of it. I think had there been a more clear outline of like, this is what I expect from Stassi, this is what I want from Stassi, and this is what I hope to gain from this experience, and also use it as an opportunity to help people learn and grow from it as well. Not that that's her responsibility. I mean, Faith doesn't have to lecture or teach anybody anything. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that if this were about altruism and about accountability, then I would like to see, you know, an outline of what that would look like necessarily. This is confusing. Why isn't she also suing Kristen? I mean, Kristen didn't write a New York Times bestselling book and become successful after all of this. So, I don't think calling people trolls is going to accomplish a single thing. I agree with you, Julie. I don't think calling people trolls is going to accomplish anything either. Um, but yeah, I mean, there are plenty of trolls on Twitter though. So that's that. That's the whole case. It doesn't seem like she has a case. Nima doesn't seem like she has a case. Doesn't think she has a case either. So I guess at this point we just have to wait and see what happens and see what she decides to do with this moving forward and if she has any plans to pursue it. So yeah. All right. Lots of comments in the live chat. She has no case. I mean, some people, yeah. If she does have a case, like I'm curious to hear what the case actually is. I would be, interested to learn more about it. This chick is a dog with the bone. Um, I don't know. Yeah, again, it's just very questionable with the timing and again the vagueness. Love the color on you. Thank you, maintenance chick. I think she wants more. She wants 5 more minutes of fame. They didn't do it because of her race. They did it because of what she did to Brittany. She knew what she was doing when she slept with Jax. Even LVP said it. I mean, listen, the Jax thing was very questionable as well. I don't know how somebody accidentally records somebody having sex and then accidentally gets that leaked on a reality television show. I believe it didn't air because Jax didn't want the clip to air, and it was also illegally recorded and illegally obtained. So I think that also made it challenging on the show as well. Yes, Pam, you're gonna have to catch the replay. Recording Jax without his consent is a felony in California. Yeah, I mean, listen, you said it, not me. I'm just reading your comment out loud. But we'll have to wait and see. But if I could predict, I would not imagine that this would go anywhere, which means it's interesting to see where the $1,000 that's been raised so far, where that money ends up going. Listen, I'm all about justice and I'm all about people getting what they're entitled to. But again, what is it that she's seeking and how is it that she feels she's entitled to that? So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Dun, 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 dun. But all right, guys, thank you for tuning into tonight's live. I hope you had a great Tuesday. Well, she said how big the scandal was with Tom and Ariana. The timing is crazy, and I think she's trying to cash it. Okay, I didn't think about that. I completely forgot about Scandival for 2 seconds. Now that Vanderpump Rules has stopped airing, I completely forgot about Scandival. Um, I mean, possibly. I wouldn't be surprised, but I mean, tis what it is. Okay. Maybe I'll do a members only live tonight. That sounds kind of fun, right? We haven't done a members only live in a minute. So if you guys, JC just became a member of the Zack Pack on the YouTube. Guys, if you're watching this live, hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe if you're not already. And don't forget to hit that little bell notification button down below so that way you always get the tea all up in your notifications. Maybe we do a like after party members only live stream where we spill some tea. That sounds kind of fun, right? I'm kind of here for that. We haven't done a members only live in a minute. I love members only lives. Mallory. Oh, Mallory, it was so fun meeting you last week. Yeah, let's do like an unfiltered Q&A, talk about anything. Maybe I'll pull out some Skinny Girl Margarita. We'll do actually, it's 6:30 now. Give me 30 minutes. I'm going to take Sky out because he's getting a little rambunctious inside. Hi, baby. You want to say hi? Come here, buddy. I'm going to take him out to like stretch his legs a little bit. And then in 30 minutes at 7 o'clock Pacific, we will do a members only live stream and we will do a Q&A. We'll have fun with it. Hi, baby. I feel Faith just wants to make a quick buck. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so glad I caught a live. Yay. Well, if you're a member of the Zack Pack, which it looks like you are, Dora, Sky was so Dora. Oh, yeah, you got to meet him at the brunch on Friday. Okay, give me 30 minutes. I'm going to let him stretch his legs, and then I'll be back, and we'll do a members only live stream. All right, guys, I love you. I appreciate you. New podcast episode will drop on Wednesday. New live stream will happen Thursday night, per usual, and that'll be uploaded onto the podcast on Friday. Okay. Oh, Sky, they want to see you. Come here, buddy. You want to say hi? Come here. Oh, you're getting too big. Okay, ready? Oh. Okay, buddy. Hi. You're getting way too big, but there we go. This is the one making all the little noise. Okay, let's not lick my face, please. Okay, there we go. Nope. Okay, say hi. Say hi to the baby Sky. The big boy Sky. Oh, he's getting such a big baby. He's getting so big. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Ready? Say hi, everybody. Say hello. Hello to this live stream. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. I'm being wild today. All right. I am going to let him stretch his legs, and then I'll be back here in just a bit. All right, guys. Talk to you in a bit. Ciao for now. Bye. Bye. Welcome, Just Spacey Stacy. Welcome, Crystal Sanchez. I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, good night.